Joe Dispenza is a fascinating figure in the world of personal growth, blending science, spirituality, and practical exercises in a way that has captured millions of people worldwide. His central message is simple but profound. By changing our thoughts and emotions, we can literally rewire our brains and reshape our reality. In this video, we will explore his journey, his key teachings, and how his methods can help anyone create lasting transformation. Joe Dispenza's story begins with a life-changing event. In 1986, while competing in a triathlon, he was struck by a car and suffered multiple spinal fractures. Doctors told him that surgery was the only option if he ever wanted to walk again. But Joe chose a different path. He believed that by using the power of his mind, he could heal his body. Through intense focus and visualization, he imagined his spine reconstructing itself, bone by bone. Against all odds, within a few months, he recovered fully, no surgery, no disability. This personal miracle became the foundation of his life's work. At the core of Joe Dispenza's teaching is the idea of neuroplasticity. This is the scientific fact that the brain is not fixed, but adaptable. Every thought, emotion, and behavior creates new neural connections. When we repeat them, those connections strengthen, forming habits and automatic responses. For Joe, this means we are not victims of our past. We can literally rewire our brains to create a new future. By breaking old patterns and forming new ones, transformation becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Joe often says, "Your personality creates your personal reality." What he means is that the way we think, feel, and act every day shapes the life we experience. If we want a new reality, we must first create a new personality. That means moving beyond the familiar emotions of fear, doubt, anger, or unworthiness, and cultivating elevated states like gratitude, joy, and love. These higher emotions become the fuel that powers real change. One of the most powerful tools Joe teaches is meditation. But this is not passive relaxation. It is a deliberate practice of changing brainwave states and tuning into higher levels of consciousness. In meditation, we quiet the analytical mind, which is tied to the past and conditioned patterns, and we open the door to the subconscious. In this space, new possibilities emerge. People who practice his meditations report profound healing, creative breakthroughs, and even mystical experiences. Dispenza also emphasizes the connection between thought and biology. When we think a stressful thought, our bodies respond as if we are in real danger, releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. If this becomes chronic, it weakens the immune system and creates disease. But when we think loving, joyful, or grateful thoughts, our bodies release chemicals that promote healing and regeneration. In other words, the mind can make us sick, but it can also make us well. Our thoughts and emotions are not just abstract, they are biological instructions to the body. Another important concept in Dispenza's work is the idea of breaking the habit of being yourself. Most people wake up each day and unconsciously repeat the same thoughts, behaviors, and feelings from the past. This keeps them trapped in the same experiences, over and over. To create a new life, we must step into the unknown, thinking differently, feeling differently, and acting differently. This requires courage, because the brain is addicted to the familiar. But Joe Dispenza insists that the unknown is where real transformation happens. Energy is another recurring theme in his message. Dispenza teaches that we are not just physical beings, we are energetic beings. Every thought and emotion has a frequency. Negative emotions lower our energy, while elevated emotions raise it. By learning to generate higher frequencies, we align with the possibilities of a greater future. In this way, personal growth is not just psychological, it is energetic, connecting us with a larger field of intelligence that he often calls the quantum field. The quantum field is one of Joe Dispenza's most intriguing ideas. He describes it as an invisible field of energy that contains infinite possibilities. When we meditate and elevate our emotional state, we tap into this field, and from it, we can draw new experiences into our lives. It may sound mystical, but Joe presents it as a natural law, combining quantum physics metaphors with neuroscience to show that the mind has far more power than we have been taught to believe. Visualization plays a central role in his methods. By imagining yourself living your desired future, you prime your brain and body to experience it. The more vividly you imagine, the more your brain fires as if the experience is already happening. Over time, the body begins to believe it is living in that new reality, even before it happens. This sends powerful signals into the quantum field, aligning you with the life you desire. Dispenza also talks about coherence, especially heart-brain coherence. When the heart and brain are in sync, our entire system becomes more balanced and powerful. Techniques like breathwork and gratitude meditations are designed to create this coherence. In this state, we feel calm, focused, and empowered, and our ability to influence our environment grows. Many of his workshops include group meditations where hundreds of people enter this state together, creating an amplified field of healing and transformation. Stories of healing are a big part of Joe's message. He shares countless examples of people who have healed from chronic illnesses, depression, trauma, or even terminal diagnoses by applying his methods. These stories inspire and validate the power of the human mind and spirit. While skeptics debate the science, the undeniable fact is that thousands of people report dramatic transformations through his teachings. One of the keys to success in Joe's method is consistency. Change does not come from one meditation or one visualization. It comes from daily practice, showing up, training the mind, and rewiring the brain day after day. Just as athletes train their bodies, we must train our minds to operate in new ways. Over time, this creates a new baseline for how we think, feel, and act. Transformation then becomes natural, almost automatic. Dispenza often reminds his students that they are creators, not victims. Life is not happening to us, it is responding to us. When we understand this, we reclaim our power. No matter our past, no matter our circumstances, we always have the ability to choose new thoughts, new emotions, and new actions. This choice is the doorway to freedom. Let's pause and reflect. How many times do we catch ourselves repeating the same old stories about who we are? Dispenza challenges us to let go of those stories. We are not defined by our past. We are defined by the vision we hold for our future. The question is not, what has happened to me, but rather, who do I want to become? By focusing on this question daily, we shift from being prisoners of memory to creators of destiny. Another powerful lesson from Dispenza is about surrender. While we must set clear intentions for what we want, we must also trust the process. Obsessing over how or when something will happen creates resistance. Instead, Joe teaches us to surrender to the intelligence of the quantum field, to trust that when we align our thoughts and emotions, the universe responds. This surrender is not giving up. It is letting go of control and allowing life to flow. Gratitude is at the heart of this surrender. When we feel gratitude for a future that hasn't yet arrived, we trick the brain into believing it has already happened. This creates powerful alignment between the mind and body. Gratitude then becomes a magnet, drawing experiences into our lives that match our elevated emotional state. For Joe, gratitude is not just a reaction, it is a creative force. One of Dispenza's most memorable sayings is, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." This captures the essence of his philosophy. The future is not something that happens by chance. It is something we shape with our inner world. By mastering our thoughts, emotions, and energy, we take responsibility for our destiny. This is both empowering and challenging because it removes all excuses, but it also offers limitless possibility. Community plays an important role in Dispenza's work as well. His retreats and workshops bring together thousands of people who share the same intention for growth. In this collective energy, transformations seem to happen faster and deeper. The sense of connection and shared purpose reminds us that we are not alone on this journey. We grow faster when we grow together. Joe Dispenza's message is both scientific and spiritual. It speaks to the rational mind that wants evidence, while also inspiring the intuitive side that longs for meaning. This balance is part of why his work resonates so widely. He bridges two worlds, the laboratory and the meditation hall, showing that they are not separate but complementary. In doing so, he invites us to embrace the full spectrum of our humanity. So, what can we learn from Joe Dispenza today? First, that our brains are plastic, capable of change at any age. Second, that our emotions shape our biology and our future. Third, that meditation, visualization, and gratitude are tools for transformation. And finally, that surrendering to the unknown allows us to step into possibilities greater than anything we have yet experienced. His teachings remind us that we are far more powerful than we realize. As we close this exploration of Joe Dispenza's wisdom, let's remember that knowledge is only the beginning. True transformation requires practice, persistence, and faith. Start small, meditate daily, visualize your goals, cultivate gratitude, and step into the unknown with courage. Over time, these practices will rewire your brain and reshape your reality. The secret to an easy life, as Joe Dispenza shows us, is not about controlling the outside world. It's about mastering the inside world. If this message resonates with you, carry it forward into your daily life. Don't just listen, apply. Don't just believe, experience. As Joe often says, when you change your energy, you change your life. The invitation is open. Will you step into the unknown and become the creator of your future? If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like and a comment, and follow us for more personal training videos.